When Golly Gump went to the fair, he won first prize for yawning. Golly Gump was the best yawner for miles around. His yawn was wider and taller and louder than anyone else's. When he got home, he put his prize on the gate post and started swinging back and forth, yawning and yawning. As he was swinging, a fly flew by, and just at that moment, Golly yawned his first prize yawn, and I don't know how and I don't know why, but Golly Gump, he swallowed that fly. Now Golly was in trouble. He could feel that fly buzzing around inside of him, around and around. He didn't know what to do. He jumped off the garden gate and ran up the road yelling, but that didn't help him. So he asked himself a question. What catches flies? And he told himself the answer. Spiders! Then Golly knew just what to do. He opened wider, and Golly Gump, he swallowed a spider. Then Golly was in a pickle again. He could feel the spider tickling his insides, but the fly must have been too fast for the spider, because he could still feel the fly buzzing around and around. Now Golly didn't like that one bit. He leapt up and ran down the road again, but when that didn't help, he sat down and began to think. He asked himself a question. What catches spiders? And he told himself the answer. Birds! So Golly did what he had to do. It's the silliest thing I ever heard, but Golly Gump, he swallowed a bird. Gump? Oh, poor Golly, that made things worse than ever. He could feel the bird flapping inside, he could still feel the spider tickling him, and the fly was buzzing around and around. That made Golly really mad. He was so mad he didn't even have to ask himself the question. He knew what catches birds all right. Cats! So he knew what to do right away. Don't ask me how he managed that, but Golly Gump, he swallowed a cat. Oh boy, Golly was in bad trouble now. He could hear that cat meowing inside and feel the bird flapping and the spider tickling him with his long legs and the fly buzzing around and around, and that's a lot going on in a person's stomach. Just then a yellow dog came down the road, stopping at every tree to sniff. Can you guess what Golly Gump did next? Old Golly acted like a hog and swallowed down that yellow dog. Boom! Oh, then you should have heard the racket and the noise inside. The dog was howling, the cat was yelling, the bird was flapping, the spider was tickling, and the fly was buzzing around and around. Now Golly swallowed the very next thing he saw coming down the road. What is that? Do you know what it was? Was someone big, someone tall? It was the dog catcher, net and all. Now Golly was in the worst trouble yet. Inside was the dog catcher yelling, the dog howling, the cat yelling, the bird flapping, the spider tickling, and the fly buzzing round and around. It felt like a zoo inside. Golly thought until his brain was all worn out, but he couldn't think of anything that catches dog catchers. He was afraid he would have to walk for the rest of his life with a zoo inside. And then he asked himself a question: what is really scary? And he stood up and he yelled his loudest yell. If you don't all get out of there, I'm going to swallow a grizzly bear. Well, that scared him. Golly opened wide and they all ran out. The dog catcher yelling, the dog howling, the cat yelling, the bird flapping, the spider tickling, and the fly buzzing around and around. And off they go. They all disappeared down the road in a cloud of dust, and Golly started home. Golly Gump did learn one thing from all that fuss. He learned to cover his mouth when yawning. And that's something to know. The end.